this isn't quite a whiskey review proper. I guess we'll just call it the Mad Mix whiskey review number 119 or whatever it is. But I know 2 Bar PSI came up in the comments and said I probably should have done it at the time I did the Jack Daniels, but as you guys know from watching that video, 2 Bar was like, why don't you do, a video with it proofed down a little bit, see if you come up with anything different. And like I said, I probably should have done it at the time, but I don't usually do stuff like that. But I don't usually get a whiskey that is, whatever we said it was. Let's see if we can see it. 133.2 proof. 133.7. I don't know. 133.3, I think it is. 66.6. 6, is that right? 600. God, my vision is so fucking bad that I can't read that. But whatever it is, it's 133 or whatever proof. High-end shit. I mean, some high-proof shit. So obviously it drinks like it's high-proof. It's a good whiskey. I enjoyed it. It's got all your typical rye stuff going on. But I figured I'd try and proof it down a couple ways. Let's see. So in the Glen can, I put in 1 tablespoon of water and then like my usual dram or whatever you want to call it. And that should bring the proof back a little bit. And then in the whiskey glass my son gave me, that's a guitar pick. He knows I'm a guitar player, so my oldest son for my birthday, I think it was my birthday one year, gave me this whiskey glass with a guitar pick melted into the side of it, which is kind of cool. And then I've got these, I got an ice cube mold that makes ice cubes that look like skulls. So I had, and they're pretty good size ice cubes, but instead of them being round, I forgot, I got them somewhere in some home goods store up in Maine. They were on clearance. So they make ice cubes that look like skulls. So I put that in there, and I'll let that sit there for a minute. And this will probably water it down even more than the tablespoon of water that I put in here. So this is 1 tablespoon of water in a usual dram of whiskey, or what I would call a dram of whiskey. I didn't measure it out. I just poured my usual pour for a typical sip. So, with it coming in at 133, I don't even know what 1 tablespoon would have proofed it down to. I would imagine maybe just over 100, around 100, something like that. Maybe even a little higher, but it's going to be lower than the barrel strength. You know what I mean? So with that being said, I've been giving it a kind of a minute to marry. As soon as I got home from work, I poured them out into the glasses and I've let them sit for a little bit so they kind of marry a little bit. And hopefully this will give you an idea of what it tastes like proofed down. I was curious myself because I'll be honest with you, as good as it is and as good as I like cask strength whiskey, I think I mentioned in the video I have never had a cask strength that high at 133 proof. That's what I barrel my own whiskey at. But usually I drop some points, so I'm not sure if Jack Daniels is barreling it super high or if they're getting a higher proof with the age. I'm not sure, but that is a high barrel proof, 133. The regular Jack Daniels single barrel rye, I think is about, I want to say it's like 87 proof, something like that, or, you know what I mean? Something like that. It's not super duper high, but it's not, super low either. So, this is, the barrel strength is far higher than the regular release of the single barrel rye. So with all that nonsense and explanation being spoken, we'll get our snout right up in here. Like I said, this is 1 tablespoon in a normal pour. Yeah, that opened up the rye a lot more, I'll tell you that much. Whereas this one, you get the rye, it almost has more of a bourbon nose at full strength. I might have mentioned, and it opened up a little bit the more it sat in the glass, and you started getting more of that mintiness and that kind of pininess. This one comes off smelling like a rye right off the rip. The minute I got my nose in there, I was like, oh yeah, that's a rye. No doubt about it. Yeah, that mintiness and that kind of piney, fresh piney mintiness is right there. typical rye, it's not beating you up with the ethanol. I mean, it wasn't beating you up with the ethanol. It's smooth enough, but you know, you can smell the proof on it, and especially when you drink it, it drinks its proof without a doubt. It almost takes your breath away when you take a sip of this. So it tames itself back a little, even with a tablespoon of water in it. Yeah, all the typical rye smells. Now it's starting to smell much more like what the normal single barrel select is. That's not barrel proof. And that was a very good rye whiskey too. I like the Jack Daniel's single barrels. They're doing some good stuff with some of these single barrels. Yeah, I like it. I like it. It's a very, very more refined nose, smoother, more palatable, definitely more rye influence right off the rip. And it's just staying there. Yeah, it's got that nice minty pininess of a rye. I like that smell. All right, let's get a sip of it. Yeah, that's much more palatable. Even with only a tablespoon of of water in it, it's still pretty high. I would say it's probably still over 100 proof, maybe 105, maybe even heading up to 110, but it's not nearly as shocking as this when you sip it down. And it's still got all the rye characteristics. It's got the spice at the back end. In fact, I think watering it down a little might have even brought out a little more of that barrel spice. So it's got all the typical rye flavors, just toned back a little from that. Yeah, back again on the nose. It's got that heavy mint and kind of fresh pine smell. That's the best way I know how to describe it. It's got some fruitiness coming through, but it's just got that heavy rye, kind of minty pininess on it. Heavy. It hits your nose hard. Harder than it did on the barrel strength. Yeah, so that's nice. It's nice. It's a nice rye. Like I said, if you don't like rye whiskey, you're probably not going to like this one because this is rye. I don't know what their mash bill is. It doesn't say it's a straight rye, so it's probably a high rye. I mean, I don't really know. I should have looked up what Jack Daniel's. If I think of it after this, I'll look up what Jack Daniel's mash bill is and maybe stick it in the comments under my name. So yeah, it's a typical rye. This tastes more like what I remember the single barrel select tasting like. That was like 78 or whatever. I mean 87, something like that. Yeah, it was like below 90 or around 90, and it was good. I liked it when I got it before. It's a lot cheaper than this. It's probably like 20, 25 bucks cheaper than this too, whereas this was 78 bucks. I think the barrel select, normal proof is like 52 bucks, 53 bucks, somewhere in that range. So it's definitely more palatable and slightly, maybe I wouldn't say more interesting, but different. You're getting much more of that rye right off the rip, whereas with that, you're getting more of the heavy flavors. You're getting a little more barrel. You're getting a little more of a bourbon-y type of nose, which is probably barrel influence, you know what I mean? And far more syrupy. That stuff is thick and syrupy. This one is tamed back a lot. It's not got nearly the legs with the water in it. I mean, it's still got some, but that stuff is thick. All right, so with that being said, you can see this ice cube is melted down considerably, so I expect this to be probably closer to like an 80 proof, 90 proof, something like that. It's been in there for a little bit, but there's still quite a bit of the ice cube left. And obviously it's going to be cold. It's going to have a totally different taste. So let's get the nose. Yeah, this smells a lot fruitier. Like it's not in a Glen can glass, so I can't get the full whiff on it that I kind of like, but yeah, I'm almost getting like weird fruity, like almost a pineapple-y or something like that, or like a peachy pineapple-y. That's weird. It smells, you don't smell any of the rye on the nose now. You know what I mean? It was kind of the same pull. You can see how much the color has changed. I mean, look at the difference in color just from it being watered down. And it's, it's probably getting a little cloudy too from the ice and the water. Yeah, it smells much more like fruit and much less like mint or pine. Yeah, that's interesting. It went more towards the fruit side with all this ice in it. Let me get a sip. Yeah, interesting. It's lost a lot. It's lost a lot of the rye kind of upfront ryeness to it. Very good on ice. I mean, this might be a nice thing to sip on ice. I kind of like it on ice better. Like I said, everything's tamed back. It's not hitting you with the mint, the piney mint smell. The fruit is tamed back from deep fruit to like a lighter fruit, more like more like a light appley, peachy, maybe even pineapple. It's kind of weird smell. I'm not getting as much of a nose because of this big ass wide open glass. But all right, one more sip and we'll wrap this. Yeah, that's way tamed back. This has got to be more like 80 proof, somewhere in there. Maybe even a little bit lower, but somewhere around there. It's not. You can still taste that it's alcohol. But I like it. I think I like it better this way. I mean, I enjoy having a dram of the full strength every now and again, and I didn't mind it watered down a little bit. It kind of brought out more of the rye characteristics, but tamed down the brutality of the amount of alcohol in that bottle. But this would be nice to sit around and sip on some ice. Like if you don't want to, the problem with something that strong is, a couple shots of that or a couple drams of that, you're fucking loaded. You know what I mean? I did a dram of that, like the pour I had in the Glen can glass, and I was like, ooh, yeah, this stuff will fucking hit you. You know what I mean? This is not something you want to throw back shots of all night. It'll fucking weigh your ass out and weigh your palate out, too. Uh, but I got to be honest with you. I'm pleasantly surprised at how good this is on ice. And this might be something that I have over ice every now and again. I'll probably have another pour, maybe not tonight, but I'll have another pour of it right from the bottle just to go back to that and see what I remember about it, see if something's changed for me. But it's strong. You know what I mean? This thing is beating you up with proof. And so yeah, I kind of like it. So I would recommend strongly, trying, if you get a bottle of this, water it down a little bit, try it that way. Throw it over a good cube of ice and let it chill for a little bit and enjoy it that way. So, nice. It was nice to kind of experiment and realize that, hey, there's more than one way to enjoy this whiskey. You don't have to enjoy it at beat your ass up barrel strength. You know what I mean? Well, it's nice that way, and it's it's unique, and that's the way they bottled it, and that's the way they wanted you to at least try it. It's nice to water it down a little bit, especially over ice. I think I'm enjoying it more over ice than I was watering it down a little bit, with that tablespoon of water. I think I would probably either like to enjoy this just straight from the bottle or over a nice cube of ice and let it mellow a little bit. You know what I mean? Because I think what you're getting when you just water it down a little bit isn't making that big of a difference from what it tastes like that. But I mean, it's kind of cool to try it. But I think I would prefer this much more. Like I said, look at the difference in color. So you're losing a lot of that character and it's opening up different flavors. So I kind of like it this way. In fact, this might even be good in like a mixed drink, like a Manhattan or something. I don't make those kind of drinks anymore, but the way this is tasting over ice and kind of watered down a little bit, it makes me think this might be a good mixer too. It'd be an expensive mixer. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying you want to buy a $78 mixer, but it might be nice to try a Manhattan or, I don't even know what other kind of whiskey drinks there are. I don't have a whole lot of mixed drinks. I don't drink mixed drinks a whole lot. But it would be nice every now and again to have one. And this might be the one to do it. You know what I mean? So, all right, let me put this thing down. With all that bullshit being spoken, I'm glad I took a chance. This is, I guess we'll call it the Mad Mix Whiskey Review number 119 or 119 and a half, whatever you want to call it. The Jack Daniels Proof Down video. So yeah, I definitely recommend you give it a try. If you get your hands on this bottle, if that proof point, that 133 proof point is beating the shit out of you, you throw it over a cube of ice. I kind of like it that way. I'm going to sit down and enjoy. I'm going to pour the rest of that dram that I watered down a little bit over the ice cube And I'm going to sit here and enjoy all of that over the ice cube and kind of sip it and see how it unfolds. So with that being said, love yourself. Always love and respect yourself. Always love and respect your family and friends. Try to do the best you can with these people on the planet. And don't be afraid to try proofing down some really high strength alcohol. You know what I mean? Some of these barrel proofs, you know, usually barrel proof scotches aren't 133. They're more like 112. You know what I mean? They're not super duper high proof like bourbons can be. And they had the single barrel select bourbon barrel proof regular Jack Daniels too. So maybe at some point, if I'm feeling like I want to spend another $78, I'll try that. But I don't know. I like rye better than I like bourbon or Tennessee whiskey for the most part. So be good, people. I hope this rambling video said something about proofing down this high test shit. So I'll see you on the next one. There's always a next one. Later.